Picture this moment. You're standing in your kitchen, coffee in hand, retirement just 5 years away. Your savings account looks respectable. Perhaps you've accumulated $200,000, $300,000, maybe more. You feel secure. But here's what nobody's telling you. That security? It's probably an illusion, a dangerous one. Let me show you what I mean. Remember coffee prices from 3 years ago? That gallon of milk? Your electric bill? The prices crept upward, silently, month after month. You noticed? Certainly, but the increases felt manageable. A few cents here, a dollar there. Now multiply that across everything you buy over decades. According to the Department of Labor's December 2024 report to Congress, inflation doesn't just make things more expensive, it actively diminishes your retirement security. And here's the twist, it hits people approaching retirement hardest, those who can least afford to lose purchasing power. 92% of retired Americans in the 2025 Schroeder survey identified inflation as their primary concern. Not market crashes, not healthcare costs. Inflation? Why? Because it's invisible until it's too late. Now we arrive at the truly insidious part. Most people think they're fighting one battle, keeping up with rising prices, but you're actually caught between two forces. Inflation is merely the first trap. The second, it's called lifestyle creep, and it's deadlier. Here's how it works. You receive a raise, perhaps $10,000 annually. You feel wealthier, naturally, so you upgrade. Better car lease, nicer restaurants, premium subscriptions you never needed before. Former luxuries become perceived necessities. This is the formal definition from behavioral economics research. Your brain recalibrates what felt indulgent last year becomes your new baseline this year. Research from the Center for Retirement Research at Boston College reveals something startling. 47% of working households aren't saving enough for retirement. They're earning more than ever, yet saving proportionately less between 2022 and 2023. Consumer spending grew nearly 6% across all income brackets. Meanwhile, only 54% of adults maintained enough savings to cover 3 months of expenses. People earned more, they spent nearly all of it. The wealth never accumulated. Think about subscriptions for a moment. According to CR research, the average household now spends $273 monthly on subscription services. That's up 435% since 2018. 435%. None of those subscriptions existed a decade ago. You survived without them, yet now they feel essential. That's lifestyle creep working its magic. Let's examine your retirement contributions. Perhaps you're diligent. You set up automatic savings years ago. $500 monthly goes into your retirement account. Or maybe it's $1,000. You did the responsible thing, except there's a problem. That fixed amount you established 5 years ago, it's worth less today. Much less. Not because you're contributing less money, but because each dollar buys less retirement security, according to research from Vanguard and the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Automation increases long-term savings rates by over 40%. That's powerful. But here's what they don't emphasize enough. If your automated contribution never increases, you're actually saving less over time in real terms. Inflation runs around 3% annually on average. Your income typically grows 2 to 4% yearly, but if your savings contributions stay frozen at that original number, $500, $1,000, whatever you chose, you're falling behind on two fronts. First, your purchasing power erodes from inflation. Second, your lifestyle creeps upward from income growth, the gap between what you save and what you'll need. It widens every single year. Researchers at the National Bureau of Economic Research studied automatic enrollment programs. They tracked employees for 60 months. Their findings shocked the retirement industry. Automatic savings policies raised retirement savings rates by less than 1% of income over 5 years. Less than 1%. Why? Some modest 4 main reasons emerged. Many people eventually opted out. Only 40% accepted their first automatic increase. High employee turnover prevented full vesting. And 42% of balances got cashed out when people changed jobs. The automation helped, but it wasn't enough. Let me make this concrete. Imagine you're 40 years old. You start contributing $500 monthly to retirement, disciplined, consistent, admirable. If you never increase that amount, by age 65, you'll have accumulated roughly $325,000, assuming 7% average returns. Now imagine a different scenario. Same starting point, $500 monthly, but each year you increase your contribution by just 5%. Just 5%. By 65, you'll have accumulated over $650,000. That's double from one simple modification. The difference compounds not just from investment returns, from behavioral economics. Small, consistent increases you barely notice create massive long-term wealth. Northwestern Mutual's 2025 Planning and Progress study found Americans believe they need $1.26 million to retire comfortably. Yet among those with retirement savings, 25% have saved less than 1 year's annual income. The gap is staggering. 51% of Americans think it's likely they'll outlive their savings. More than half. These aren't pessimists or financial failures. These are ordinary workers who failed to account for two simple forces: inflation and lifestyle creep. Now, I'll share the solution. It's almost embarrassingly simple, which is precisely why it works. I call it the lazy escalator strategy. Here's the complete system. Step 1. Choose your escalation percentage. 3 to 5% works best for most people. Higher percentages can feel uncomfortable. Lower ones don't keep pace with reality. Step 2. Set a recurring calendar reminder for one specific date annually. Pick something memorable: your birthday, January 1st, the anniversary of starting your current job. Doesn't matter which, just choose one and stick with it. Step 3. When that reminder appears, log into your retirement account. Increase your contribution percentage by your chosen amount. 3%, 4%, 5%, that's it. No complex calculations, no financial advisor meetings, no spreadsheets or projections, just one annual adjustment that takes approximately 10 minutes, maybe 15 if you make coffee first. The psychological research supports this approach powerfully. Studies on automatic escalation from Richard Thaler and Shlomo Benartzi, published in peer-reviewed academic journals, demonstrate something fascinating about human behavior. We resist large immediate sacrifices, but we accept small future increases remarkably well. When companies implemented automatic escalation programs where contributions increased just 1 percentage point annually, participation rates soared. Employees barely noticed the reduction in take-home pay, but their retirement balances grew substantially. The key insight: the increase happens before you see the money, before lifestyle creep can capture it. Let me explain the mechanics. Say you earn $70,000 annually. You're currently contributing 6%, $4,200 yearly, or $350 monthly. Next year, you get a 3% raise. Your income becomes $72,100. Under the traditional approach, you keep contributing 6%. Now that's $4,326. You've increased contributions by $126 annually, barely noticeable. But your take-home income jumped by over $2,000. Where does that extra money go? Lifestyle creep claims most of it. Premium cable packages, restaurant delivery services, that gym membership you'll use twice. Under the lazy escalator approach, you increase your contribution to 9%. Now you're saving $6,489. That's $2,163 more than last year. Your take-home pay still increased, just not by the full amount. You captured a portion for future you before present you could spend it. Research from the Employee Benefit Research Institute examined this exact scenario when employers combined automatic enrollment with automatic escalation and automatic portability. Retirement savings shortfalls decreased by 16%. For those aged 35 to 39, the impact was even more dramatic, a 26% reduction in retirement shortfalls. For workers with 27 to 30 years of future plan eligibility, a 60% reduction, 60% from one simple systematic increase. Here's your action plan. Task 1 takes 10 minutes. Open your retirement account right now, whether it's your company's website or your brokerage platform. Just log in. Find your current contribution percentage, write it down, calculate what 3% higher would be. If you're contributing 6%, that's 9%. Contributing 10%, that becomes 13%. Make that change immediately today. Not next week when you have more time. Today. That's your baseline established. Task 2 takes 5 minutes. Open your calendar application, create a recurring annual reminder. Title it something clear. Review retirement contributions, set it for exactly 1 year from today. Add a note in the description, increase contribution percentage by 3-5%. Include the link to your retirement account login page. Task 3 takes 30 minutes. The real work? Review your current budget. Honestly, where is lifestyle creep hiding? Subscriptions you forgot about? Dining expenses that ballooned? Shopping habits that intensified? Pick 3 areas, just 3, where you'll maintain discipline over the next year. This isn't about deprivation, it's about conscious allocation. Money you redirect from unconscious spending to deliberate saving. Task 4 takes 15 minutes. Research whether your employer offers automatic escalation features. Many 401k plans now include this option. You can set it once and forget it. If available, activate it. If not, your calendar reminder system accomplishes the same goal. Total time invested, 1 hour. Total potential impact on your retirement, hundreds of thousands of dollars. You're probably thinking something right now. I can't afford to save more. Let me address that directly. This is the most common response. It's also usually incorrect. When researchers surveyed employees who opted out of retirement plans, 28% cited affordability as the reason. Yet those same employees were spending an average of $2,000 annually on impulse purchases. They didn't remember making a month later. The question isn't whether you can afford to save more. The question is whether you can afford not to. Schroeder's 2025 survey found 62% of retirees have no idea how long their savings will last. 45% report expenses higher than expected. Only 40% believe they saved enough. These aren't different people. These are you in 20 years, if you don't change course now. Another objection, the stock market's too volatile. True, markets fluctuate, but over 20 to 30-year periods, equity markets have historically returned 7 to 10% annually. Not every year, not even most years, but as an average. The Society of Actuaries published research in June 2024 examining retirement portfolios through various inflation scenarios. Their conclusion? Americans will almost certainly face periodic high inflation episodes. The solution isn't avoiding investment, it's systematic. Escalating contributions that outpace inflation regardless of timing. Final objection, I'll just save more later when I earn more. This is the trap. This is exactly how lifestyle creep wins later, never comes. When you earn more, you'll want more. That's not a character flaw, it's human psychology. Behavioral economists call it hedonic adaptation. You quickly adjust to new comfort levels, then you need constant upgrades to feel satisfied. The only solution, capture the money before you see it, before adaptation kicks in. Let me share something that might sting. If you're over 50 and reading this, you're running out of time. Not to panic, but to act. Someone starting retirement savings at 40 needs to save approximately $1,547 monthly to reach adequate retirement funds by 65, starting at $53,958 monthly. Those numbers assume consistent saving with no withdrawals, no job changes where you cash out, no emergencies that drain accounts. According to Federal Reserve data from their 2024 survey on household economic decision-making, 39% of working Americans have no retirement account whatsoever. Among those who do, the median balance in 2023 was $87,000. $87,000. If you're 60 and have $87,000 saved, you're not retiring comfortably. You're delaying retirement. Working longer, downsizing expectations, hoping nothing goes wrong. This isn't meant to frighten you, it's meant to wake you up. The lazy escalator strategy works best when you start early, but it still works if you start today. Less powerful, yes. Still worthwhile? Absolutely. A 55-year-old who implements 5% annual increases for 10 years will accumulate significantly more than someone who maintains frozen contributions. Not as much as someone who started at 30, but substantially more than doing nothing. Perfect timing beats poor timing, but action today beats perfect timing tomorrow. This strategy solves more than retirement under saving. It rewires your relationship with money. Most people view money as something to spend. Paycheck arrives, bills get paid, leftovers disappear into discretionary purchases. Whatever remains at month's end, if anything, goes to savings. This approach fails, always, because there are never leftovers. Expenses expand to fill available income. That's Parkinson's law applied to finances. The lazy escalator flips the equation. Saving happens first, automatically, increasingly, everything else adjusts around it. You're still spending, still enjoying life, still upgrading occasionally, but within a framework that prioritizes future security. Research on personal savings orientation, published by behavioral economists studying lifestyle habits, reveals something crucial. Financial literacy alone doesn't predict saving success. Neither does high income. What predicts success? Making savings a lifestyle, not merely a goal. People who view saving as habitual, as something always operating in the background, accumulate wealth regardless of income level. Those who view saving as occasional or goal-based struggle even at high incomes. The lazy escalator builds that habit mechanically. You don't need to become a different person. The system creates the behavior creates the results. We've covered significant ground. The inflation illusion, how it silently erodes purchasing power. Lifestyle creep, how it captures income growth before you realize it's happening. The compounding trap, fixed savings amounts becoming worth less annually in real terms, and the solution. The simple annual increase system requiring minimal effort with maximum impact. Now you face a decision. You can do nothing. That's genuinely an option. Life continues. Paychecks arrive, spending happens, retirement approaches. And when it arrives, you'll join that 62% who don't know how long their money will last. Or you can spend 1 hour this week implementing the lazy escalator. Not to become wealthy overnight, not to retire early on a yacht, but to give yourself a fighting chance at the retirement you imagine. The one where money stress doesn't consume your days, where unexpected expenses don't trigger panic, where you actually enjoy the years you worked so hard to reach? According to the National Institute on Retirement Security, 79% of working Americans believe the country faces a retirement crisis. Their top concerns: rising costs, inflation, market volatility. But here's what they're missing. The crisis isn't external, it's behavioral. It's the gap between what we earn and what we save, between what we spend and what we need. That gap closes one decision at a time, 1 percentage point at a time, 1 year at a time. The research is unequivocal. Small, consistent, escalating contributions outperform large, sporadic efforts. Automation outperforms willpower. Starting today outperforms waiting for perfect conditions. Let me leave you with this calculation. Assume you're 45, earning $80,000 annually, contributing 5%, $4,000 yearly standard path. Maintain that 5% through retirement at 67. 22 more years, assuming 7% returns, you'll accumulate approximately $215,000, better than nothing. Not enough for comfortable retirement. Lazy escalator path, same starting point. Increase contributions 4% annually. By year 5, you're contributing 9%, year 10, 13%, year 15, 17%. At retirement, you'll have accumulated over $450,000, more than double. From the same starting income, the same investment returns, just systematic, barely noticeable annual increases. That extra $235,000, that's real money. That's the difference between rationing expenses and living normally, between working into your 70s and retiring at 67, between financial anxiety and financial peace. 1 hour to set up, 10 minutes annually to maintain, hundreds of thousands of dollars in impact. The mathematics don't lie. The behavioral science doesn't lie. The only variable is whether you act. Here's what I want you to do right now. Pause this recording. Open your retirement account. Check your current contribution percentage. Calculate 3% higher. Maybe 4% if you can manage it. Make that change. Set your annual reminder. Put it in your calendar before you forget. That's it. You've started. Next year, when that reminder appears, do it again. Increase another 3 to 4%. The year after, same thing. You won't notice the reduced take-home pay. Not really. You'll adjust. But your retirement account will notice. Your future self will notice. And 20 years from now, when you're facing retirement, you won't be among that 47% who didn't save enough. You won't spend an hour daily worrying about money. You won't be lying awake wondering how long your savings will last. You'll be the person who made one simple decision, who spent 1 hour setting up a system, who trusted the mathematics and the behavioral science, who gave themselves the retirement they actually wanted. The lazy escalator is waiting. It requires almost no effort. It solves a massive problem. The only question left is whether you'll use it.